Hey, we're back into Euro Truck Simulator after a little bit of a break. Seems like I have to say that at the start of every single episode that we go on a bit of a drive. But we're back yet again. Let's go ahead and pick and choose a job first off. Not really sure where we want to go. Somewhere where it's not too far, but not too close either. Of course, we are in Lyon at the moment. I wouldn't mind going to Realms, I guess is what they'd call it, with a bit of a French roll of the tongue. But Praha, no, that's too far. Rotterdam. Well, I'm pretty sure up to Rotterdam, have we gone up this road? Yeah, we have pretty much all of this over here. Yeah, we've covered all that. About Salzburg. Yeah, we've covered all this, and that's amongst all these curvy roads because Switzerland's Alps, all that stuff. We'll just go ahead and go to Rotterdam. I think it's 25 tons worth. Alright, so it seems like we'll have to be making a bit of a turn. Of course, I should turn on the windscreen wipers, and I'll try to turn the music on, but of course I got to manage this tight turn first. And I don't really have much to talk about this episode. We'll find things to talk about though. And the light was just green, wasn't it? I could have gone and tried to beat the red light. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and play a bit of music, set the mood for our drive. God damn, that ticking sound's annoying. Anyways, off we go. Now, we're back here because, well, I miss playing Euro Truck Sim. It's one of the games that I really enjoy, whereas it might not get the most amount of views for a video, but I know you guys that do watch it, do enjoy it very thoroughly. So, of course, as well as I enjoy it, why not go ahead and record a bit of Euro Truck Sim for a bit of a drive, a bit of a lengthy drive at that, but I'm sure it'll be exciting. Hopefully we won't go ahead and crash too bad at all either. And we are driving on the right side of the road, of course. It always gets very confusing amongst Europe. It's all you guys drive around on different sides, or at least England does, and then, well, Great Britain does, and then the rest of Europe, you drive like supposedly normal people, but I don't really think you're normal. Anyways, off we go. In the meantime, there's been a bit of political news in Australia that interests me greatly, at least in regards to the internet. In more, I guess, more news, the National Broadband Network, the opposition, who will, I guess, most definitely be the government at the time of the next election, or they'll win the next election. That's pretty much guaranteed. They rolled out, or they've made public their plans for the National Broadband Network, because Australia does pretty much need a National Broadband Network because funded by the state. Because of just how large it is and how uneconomically viable it is for a private company to go ahead and try to install fibre into at least, well, most of Australians' homes. Because in the city, I guess it does make sense for a company, but of course Australia can't be just populated in the mainland cities or in the coastal cities. It needs to be, there needs to be a bit more people around Australia. It needs to be a bit more populist, or populated, would make more sense. After all, we did hit 23 million people the other day, which is quite the achievement. Although, to be honest, that's pretty much nothing compared to most countries in the world. Australia's extremely large, but the amount of people that we've got is very little. So we've got like a massive amount of density, or, well, no density at all. You can go for kilometers. I think it's like 1 kilometer per person now. At least 1 square kilometer. That's the density of Australia. Anyway, I'm guessing if the lights are green because I can't see them. So we'll just might as well take it. That turned red, so it seems good. Anyways, off we go. There's been also a bit of news in regards to Euro Truck Sim. There'll be a couple of new truck brands, supposedly, or maybe just some models, but they've been working on some models, I know, of new trucks. I'm not really too much into truck types. Oh, that was one of those red lights that you get fined on. It's always a risk. Anyway, it was so close. I'll pass that. I'll let myself go. But still, no news on any DLC news in Poland. I'm very much looking forward to a new area to go ahead and drive through, because we've covered a lot of the map so far. Do I even have my lights on? There we go. don't want to go ahead and get fined for not having my lights on. Wait, let me just close my window. Don't want my neighbor thinking I'm a bloody weirdo talking to myself. My neighbor's like fairly close to my window, and then you must think I'm the biggest weirdo talking to myself. Playing a computer trucking game. Good times, good times. Now it'll be extremely hot in my room though. Anyways, off we go. Onto our drive. We've got 788 kilometers to get through. I'm sure we'll get that through in about half an hour or so. If we drive quickly. Probably a bit more than half an hour, to be honest. Either way, it'll be fun. So in regards to the National Broadband Network, the opposition, who will be definitely the government in about 5 months' time, they said, well, the National Broadband Network is a plan for the government to fund a better fiber-based internet. That's what both sides have agreed to, and they want more Australians connected to better, faster internet, and they want it to be more equal amongst wherever you are in Australia. So at the moment, people out in the country have to pay through a satellite connection, I'm understanding. That's what I understand of it. And they get pretty abysmal speeds. And of course, now with everything being online and how easy it is to set up an online business, there's a lot of money to be made. And of course, country people, if they want, they can set up their own business, online business, but it's a bit hard with only a satellite connection. It's unreliable, etc. Or just incredibly slow. Whereas now with the National Broadband Network, what they're trying to do is at least give most Australians, apart from in the most remote areas, a fairly decent internet connection. Seems like my guy's extremely tired. We need a rest in an hour. I might as well take this rest stop right up around here. Seems like our fuel is full though, so that's not a worry. And the way that we get internet, at least city folk get internet now, is through a copper connection to their house from an exchange. This is clearly not a rest stop, it's right around here, a little bit further on. Just thought we might be able to go ahead and get through. We might have. That toll gate definitely did stay up for quite a while. But yeah, we get copper wiring, which is, I guess, sheathed in some plastic or something, and it's underground, of course, connected to the house, to every house. But now the copper is definitely expiring, and it's rusting, and I don't know really what's happening. It's corroding, we'll say. And especially when it rains, lots of people get internet connection dropouts, and it's just horrendous. Internet becomes really intermittent. You don't really get a good stable connection, and copper's just not really that reliable at all. And it doesn't have the capacity to give you as good speeds over a distance, because if you live, say, 500 meters within or next to an exchange, you're pretty good, but after like 500 or so meters, the speed on the line, the copper line, dissipates by a lot. And then if you live like 3 kilometers away from the exchange, which is like in a suburban area, what most people would live like normally, that distance away from an exchange, the internet speeds do get a lot slower than what they could be. Whereas with fiber, it's a bit like glass or something, like lights, as it goes through. It is pretty much glass. And obviously that travels at the speed of light, pretty much, and it travels incredibly fast, and there's no, it doesn't matter how much distance is between the exchange and where you live. So that's good, because you'll always have the same type of speed. It's pretty much dependent on your internet plan. Whereas you might be able to now get like 25 or ADSL2 speeds, which are 25 megabits a second, I'm guessing is, 25 megabits a second theoretically. Whereas I live about 2 kilometers away from an exchange, my max download speeds are 1.5 megabits a second. And don't even get me started on uploading. And that's pretty much where all the productivity gains are going to come from. Things like video conferencing and all of this educational and health possibilities that a national internet network or national broadband network can provide come through uploading speeds. And uploading on copper, we have asymmetric internet connections, which means that's either one side of the connection is much larger than the other. So with downloads, the speeds are really high in comparison to the uploads, although in comparison to or relative to international standards, Australian internet is incredibly and embarrassingly slow. But it's the upload speeds are much slower than the download speeds. They're not even. But of course, Australia, I guess, does have the problem of tyranny of distance, because we're so far away from the rest of the world. I guess it does take a while for information to be sent underneath the submarine cables to Australia. I'm pretty sure we're like connected through Hawaii. It goes from like California to Hawaii and through to, I guess, New South Wales, Sydney. It's pretty interesting having a look at the looking at maps of different internet submarine cables. It's pretty cool how all of that stuff works. And of course, sometimes you get the odd story of some bastards or rebels or just criminals just deciding to go ahead and swim down and cut an internet cable. Because the cables aren't really that big. You'd think that they'd be at least protected by something a little bit, I guess, a bit more reliable. But it seems that people can go ahead and just go down to a safe, I guess, level and cut the submarine internet cable. And then some countries, like I guess in Egypt or something, or at least I heard a story, I think in Albania, there was some old lady that was digging in the backyard and she accidentally dug through and cut the like an internet cable that was carrying like half of Western Europe's or the cable went to Western Europe or something like that. She cut off half the bandwidth there, which is kind of amusing. But anyways, what the opposition outlined and they said was that they'll put out fibre out to, what they're planning to do is fibre to the node, which is fibre to an exchange, which will be like, there'll be, I think, 60,000 around Australian cities. That's all around Australia. 60,000 little like fridges, we'll call them. That's pretty much what they look like. Like big chunky ass fridges outside your front street, which is pretty crazy considering that Australians of all people have one of the worst property fetishes. People in Australia just love to hoard property as an investment, which isn't a good thing for me because I want to buy a house, but it's next to impossible, at least if I want to live in Sydney, which is pretty much the only place I'd want to live in. I guess I'm too used to living in Sydney. Don't want to live anywhere else, but you never know. But wherever you live in Australia, it's incredibly expensive nowadays. It doesn't help with things like negative gearing, how people can buy a house and then if they rent it out and they're not getting, well, they're making losses through, like they're not getting as much rent as they have to pay in mortgage, then they can subsidize that and not have to pay taxes on the amount that they're losing. I'm probably explaining that really badly, but it makes sense. But it just sucks that people like buying up so much property that it inflates the actual property market. But then, of course, once all the baby boomers die, then we'll all be cheering. At least my generation will be, which I guess isn't the best, and well, it's not the best way for a society to function. For one generation to wish for another generation to die out so their lives will be better. That's sort of the way it is at the moment. That's definitely the way it is in Japan. There's lots of there's a couple of politicians actually publicly speaking, like telling the old people to hurry up and die. because they're a burden on the taxpayer. Anyways, so what the opposition said is they'll put like exchanges, or nodes as they're called, around different suburbs. There'll be a couple, like once every couple of streets, and they'll run the fiber from, I guess, the internet providers over into, so I guess the main internet provider is, the wholesaler is called the NBN, the National Broadband Network. Is the NBN is like the company name as well, and they're pretty much the government funded bureaucracy that are supposed to run the functioning of the NBN and the creation of it, and they wholesale out. Why do I have my windscreen wipers on the whole time? Clearly I'm not sane at all. Smoking a bit too much of that good stuff. Geez, now I forgot what I was saying. Typical me. So typical. Yeah, they're running out from the ISP, I'm assuming, over into the nodes fiber, and then from the node, the people will have the remaining copper network will still stay in there, which to me is incredibly idiotic, because it's not really future-proofed, because you're still relying on copper, and at the end of the day, sooner or later, the copper's going to have to be dug out, and you're going to need to put fiber in there anyway. And the manual labor cost isn't really going to change, because in Australia, of course, we do have fairly strong labor laws, which is a good thing, because we don't want people to be paid like $2 an hour or anything, like in some, I guess, southeastern or Asian nations, where it's pretty much slave labor. That's no fun for anyone. So the labor cost of digging up the copper and installing fiber isn't going to change at all, and it's going to have to be done sooner or later, so you might as well do it all in one go, because that way it'll all be cheaper. I mean, that's pretty much common sense, but the government doesn't think so. It wants to save a bit of money, at least create a facade of saving money, whereas it'll cost like $1 billion a year just to maintain the current copper network. And the people that still have the same problems with all of the problems, such as like with the water getting into the copper, they'll still happen. That's not really too good, whereas with the fiber, it's brand spanking new, and hopefully there'll be no foreseeable problems, at least. And of course, with fiber, at the moment we're capped at 100 megabytes a second, and I think 40 megabytes a second upload speed. But it's pretty easy to go ahead and make the speeds go faster, and that's what they're doing. I think by the end of the year, we'll be able to have 1 gigabit a second, which is, I'm pretty sure, what Google has in Kansas City. That's the one. Talking about Kansas City, I think I was talking about in the previous episode how cheap houses are there. I was looking at houses in America, etc. It is ridiculously cheap. It's pretty good if you guys live in America. But then I guess the economy might not be the best, so I guess it sort of evens itself out with the purchasing power of your wealth. Anyway, that's it on the NBN. That's just my little thoughts on it. Of course, I want the NBN under the Labour government, but of course they've been pretty shocking as of late. Just too many scandals. Just, you might have heard all the leadership battles that they're having. They can't decide on the leader. Either the ex-leader that they threw out themselves because they couldn't work under him. And now they have Julia Gillard, who's the current Prime Minister. And she's doing really badly in the polls. So of course, in a poll-driven society that we are now, that's all people really care about, is getting the best poll results week in, week out. And it's not leading to the best type of leadership. But then you look at our opposition leader, he's even worse than the current Prime Minister, which is just bad for, I guess, the whole of Australia. Anyways, back with what we're doing here, playing a game, of course. Euro Truck Simulator. I've gone ahead and decided to end the Dead Island Riptide Let's Play because not really. Well, I'm having semi fun with it, but not while I'm recording because I'm just dying too much for you guys to enjoy it, and I think it's just too much, too repetitive. And of course, supposedly it's very, very similar to the first Dead Island. So if you guys have seen a Let's Play of that or have played it yourselves, then it's pretty much the same. And the views on that, of course, have dropped off drastically. So it's no fun just beating a dead horse. But the way I'm trying and thinking about pushing my channel in which direction is, I'm trying to get away from like the Let's Plays of all these new games that my channel isn't really focused on. Because of course, like, it is always nice to go ahead and play all the latest and brand new games to get new subscribers and lots of views of the new games, etc. But it doesn't have, I guess, long growth potential, because the people want to watch like a Let's Play and then they'll finish up, they'll stop watching after 5 or so episodes because they know what the game's like and that's all they really care about. So I'd much rather like at least appease you guys that are watching this and the guys that like the real-time strategy games, because not only do I like them a lot, I like all games of course, but I like real-time strategy games of course and simulator games a lot, mainly the PC crowd type of games. So I might as well just focus on them. So I'm playing Red Alert 3 now, and Wargame Airland Battle will be coming out. There's a couple of games that I'm looking forward to. Company of Heroes 2. The multiplayer on that, I've been playing the beta. That's incredibly confusing though. I've been playing Company of Heroes, the first game, the campaign on that, just to get ready. But I'm not really too keen on doing a Let's Play on that. But yeah, the way I'm looking at doing things is maybe a little bit differently. And I have sort of screwed myself over, because I did say I didn't want to upload trailers of games, but I think that'll change with me, because I'm seeing other YouTubers upload trailers. I'm like, oh, god damn you bastards. I've sort of shot myself in the foot. Which I guess you guys don't really care whether or not I upload trailers. It's just more of a moral thing for me. But I guess I'll see. I guess it'll change once the Xbox, whatever it's called, Durango, whatever code name it's under at the moment, will get revealed. Maybe you'll see some trailers then or whatever. We'll see what will happen then. But I'm definitely going to be focusing on much more on real-time strategy games and just PC-only games. And of course, I'm still looking at different PC parts and all that good stuff. But of course, new things keep on coming out every, well, seemingly week. Although I'm waiting at the moment for new Intel CPUs. Like, I've been looking at the 3930K, which is a video processing, or predominantly for video processing. So at the moment, I use my computer pretty much like a heater, because winter's coming in Australia. So whenever I'm feeling cold, I can go ahead and render out a video, and my computer will turn into a heater, which is always quite amusing. And what did I talk about in my last episode? I talked about Bitcoins, of course. When they were at their very high, they were lagging up a bit. They were at like $265 or $275 was the very peak. They kept on, actually I think when I recorded that video they were like $160 or so. And then they went all the way up to $275 for one Bitcoin, like for US dollars. Oh, clearly we're going around some city, although I'm not really sure what it is. What is this? Is this Metz? It is what we're seeing. Okay. We have a damn long way to drive. We're about halfway in. 20 or so more minutes. Let's continue driving on though. I do like the scenery. I'm looking forward to a change of scenery though with the DLC. But yeah, Bitcoin's crashed pretty severely after they hit $275. They crashed down to like $100, and then they stabilized and then went all the way down to about $50 US per one Bitcoin. Now they're back up to like $145 or so. They crashed extremely drastically. And the main reason was pretty much because the main trading sites called Mt. Gox not Mount Gox, but Gox, G-O-X. Not what you guys were thinking. But Mount Gox, which is a business in Japan where you can trade bitcoins, is pretty much the well, it's by far the largest trading website for bitcoins. They were under some DDoS attacks, and they were supposedly changing their servers, and I guess the full complete story isn't out yet. Nobody really knows. Supposedly they were changing servers, and then I guess then they stuffed up with the server changes and they blamed it on a DDoS. At least that's my train of thought. And lots of people got scared with the DDoS attacks because they couldn't really access Mt. Gox, so they started panic selling. And of course, when panic selling happens, everyone decides to panic sell, and that just brought down the price of bitcoins so drastically. Thankfully, I took them out and bought a lot of stuff with the bitcoins while they were still crashing, but they were like at $220, so I made a decent little profit, which I can't complain about. But now they're all the way back up to $140, and they seem to have stabilized because lots of people were speculating, investing and speculating on bitcoins, hoping that they'd just continue their massive growth. And clearly that didn't happen. And they crashed pretty drastically. But it's pretty good though. Can't complain. They're now at $140, so the people that didn't sell off, well, and if they bought early on into bitcoins, then they'd be cheering at the moment. They'd have a fair amount of wealth if they hadn't decided to trade it in just yet. As we go over, you want us to go to Liège over here, and Luxembourg over to the right. We're going up to the very north of Europe. Another game that's going to be coming out recently, or in the next 3 months. So we've got next month is Wargame Airlands Battle, and we've got the beta for that, so I'll be uploading more videos of that. Then we've got Company of Heroes 2, so that's in June, late June, and I'm pretty sure it's either late June or late July is Civilization: A Brave New World, or A New Brave World. And with that, one of the only faction at the moment announced, or it was announced when it was the whole DLC was announced, the expansion pack was Poland. So of course I'll be playing as Poland. Very much looking forward to that. The Polish Kingdom. I think their special unit is like Hussars, which are like people on horses with incredibly fancy and pretty ridiculous hats. Make them look pretty ridiculous. And I'm looking forward to that so much. Hopefully I won't be as much of a noob as I was in my previous Civilization 5 DLC Let's Play, which was as Netherlands. So I wanted to play as Netherlands because of the tulip farms. No homo at all, but the tulip farms looked very nice in the trailers. So I was looking forward to that. And that was great fun as well. Anyway, time flies when you're having fun. We are only 300 kilometers left. Shouldn't be long, and I don't have any mods installed either. When do I need to go to sleep? 5 more hours. Okay. So we'll be able to finish this drive off without any sleep, hopefully. That'd be nice. We're lagging up a bit. It's just weird. Probably need to go ahead and reformat my computer. I just got too much shit running on in the background. Maybe another problem could be is that we're running out of space on our hard drive, because these drives, as you could imagine, with the length of recording, they do take up a lot of space on the hard drive, like 100 or so gigabytes. And I'm not even sure if I've got that much space left. So I was just recording a good session of Red Alert 3, which is a game that I never actually played. Well, I did play it, but I never finished it. Because to me, Red Alert 3 was a disgrace to the series and to the Red Alert and Command & Conquer franchise, because it was so different. Right, we're lagging up too much. Let's just press escape. That always seems to fix problems that we've got. I guess it lets the game catch up or whatever. Gotta love the paint job that we've got. The blink, the Lola pink and the aqua blue, or is a bit more of a turquoise blue. All right, this is getting quite ridiculous. I am probably going to go ahead and end this recording now, and we'll be back. I do want to finish it, but yeah, no, it's ridiculous now. I'll go ahead and end it now, and I'll go ahead and render this video out for all you guys to enjoy. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you have, of course, make sure you let me know by giving this video a like. And of course, I'll try to continue on this series. I'm trying weekly, although if I have nothing to talk about, then maybe not. But yes, definitely. Until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.